So what I tend to do for each project is create a kind of workbook, and I use these quite expensive, not terribly expensive, but I use these acid-free artists cartridge paper sketchbooks in A4 to do that. This is one for a project that I'm working on right now. It's a project that we're doing with the Young Vic at the Maudsley Hospital in Camberwell, and it's got the start of some of the notes that I'm making for the project, some of the ideas, and also I tend to use quite a lot of photographs in my research for a project. So this has got a whole series of pictures that I've collected as part of the project, which I've sort of pasted in to the book to work on and work with as part of the devising process. So when I write my notes in the book, I also look at pictures and see pictures and revisit some of the research material. So this is one that's just starting out, and I'm gonna carefully reverse like this. So what I tend to do is keep all my notes and try to write down thoughts and ideas, but I also paste in a lot of pictures into the book. So going forward through the book, as I continue to work and write notes and take notes, I might discover some of those pictures as I go along and be inspired or reminded of something or reminded of a thought as I go along with working. And of course then over time those books get filled up. This is one from a project called Everything Falls Apart from 2008, so it's quite an old book. I had quite a lot of pictures for this project. I think actually this is, so although I filled it up with notes, I've got some pictures in the book that I tend to catch up with. I try to draw a lot. I tend to draw a bit, at least, in rehearsals. See some drawing there. And also making some notes about the space there and how it was going to work. And I tend to actually also catch up in the back of the book. I wrote my more stupid notes trying to remember different things, and that's actually got a copy of the script in the back of it. And this is one that's a little bit more recent, from our project Around the World in 80 Days, which I had a lot of visual sources for actually. It ends up at the end of the book with just long scene lists of what's happening in the show, but earlier on it has a bit more some source material from the project, some source material about Phileas Fogg's journey, maps and drawings and so on. So that's a little bit about sketchbooks and how I'm working in sketchbooks as part of the process. And as you can see, I end up with quite a big collection of them here in my office, but also that's only about half of them. So I've got at least one for each show, and in some cases I've got 2 workbooks for each show. And I've got them in a big pile in the office in Cambridge as well. If you're interested, that was something about sketchbooks and how I work in notebooks. I guess one of the reasons for using this kind of reasonably expensive artist's cartridge paper sketchbook for those notes is because if you put your ideas and your thoughts in a place that you value or that is valuable, and it's quite sort of solid and concrete and sort of firm, rather than on a few bits of note paper here or there, or rather than into a bit of old A4 paper, then you're giving them some value and some significance, and I think that's what attracted me to this to this as part of the process.